What's going on, guys? Dino Bam Bam here with the 10-7 MMA. Happy to be back in your lives with another edition of the MMA Casuals Guide. If this is your first time watching this series, it's for very casual or very new fans of the sport to give you the information you need to kind of give you the storylines of everything that's going on this absolutely massive card that we have coming up. UFC 289. It is a pay-per-view. We have a title fight. We have a number one contenders fight, which is an absolute banger. We have bangers up and down this card. I cannot wait to get into it. But before I do, please do me a favor, guys. Click that little subscribe button, ring the bell, let us know what you like about these videos, let us know what you hate about these videos. And last thing, please follow us on Instagram at the 10-7 MMA, just like our channel. All right, without further ado, guys, let's start with the main event of UFC 289. It is Amanda Nunes versus Irene Aldana, and we'll start with the women's double champ, 135, 145-pound champion, the GOAT, Amanda Nunes. As I mentioned, Amanda Nunes is widely regarded as the female MMA GOAT. She is the first and only woman to ever become a concurrent UFC double champ. Originally on this card, she was supposed to be taking on Juliana Pena in a trilogy match. That fight was scrapped. Pena was forced to pull out after suffering a rib injury. Pena defeated Nunes back at UFC 269 via submission, handing Nunes her first loss in over 7 years. That was one of the biggest upsets in UFC history. The pair would later meet up for a rematch as the main event of UFC 277. Nunes absolutely dominated Pena over the course of 5 rounds to regain her bantamweight title. Nunes, whose nickname is Leoa, which translates to the lioness in Portuguese, is a very powerful striker and quite possibly the most intimidating woman in UFC history. She has defeated the likes of the aforementioned Juliana Pena, Ronda Rousey, Chris Cyborg, Germaine de Randamine, Holly Holm, and Valentina Shevchenko twice. Amanda Nunes looks to further solidify her claim as the queen of MMA by defeating rising Mexican contender Irene Aldana. The Mexican Jaguar, Irene Aldana, is an 11-fight UFC veteran, getting her first shot at UFC Gold here in the main event of UFC 289. She is known as a very technical striker who specializes in the Mexican style of boxing. She has very powerful hands and throws great combinations where she mixes up body and head strikes. Aldana trains out of the Lobo Gym in Guadalajara alongside her great friend and UFC flyweight champion Alexa Grasso. Aldana is currently on a 2-fight winning streak. In that streak, she stopped Yana Kunitskaya via TKO and finished Macy Chasson with a very interesting upkick to the liver. She looks to become the 4th Mexican UFC champion this year alone, which is an absolutely amazing feat. This fight should be very interesting, but before we get to watch this main event, we're going to get what many people are calling the fans' main event, and that, of course, is the lightweight matchup between former lightweight king Charles Oliveira versus longtime UFC lightweight mainstay Beneil Dariush. We start with the former champ, Charles "Do Bronx" Oliveira. Charles Oliveira is one of the UFC's most popular fighters of all time. His popularity reached another level towards the end of his 11-fight win streak, more specifically the final 3 fights of that win streak. He won the vacant title against Michael Chandler at UFC 262 via knockout. He then defended that title against Dustin Poirier at UFC 269, where he won via submission. And then he defeated Justin Gaethje at UFC 274, again via submission, but he was ineligible to win the title that night due to missing weight. In his Octagon interview after that Gaethje fight, he famously said the words, "The champion has a name, and it's Charles Oliveira." It was a very cool Octagon moment. I'm going to go ahead and link that speech for you guys in the description below. Last time out, Charles was defeated at UFC 280 in Dubai by current 155-pound champion Islam Makhachev. Charles is a very flashy striker and quite possibly the most dangerous jiu-jitsu practitioner the UFC has to offer. He holds the record for most finishes in UFC history with 19, which is absolutely nuts. Charles looks to get a rematch versus Makhachev, But in order to do that, he has to go through his opponent this weekend, and that opponent is Beneil Dariush. Beneil Dariush is a longtime UFC veteran. He is currently on an 8-fight win streak in the promotion, which includes wins over Mateusz Gamrot, Tony Ferguson, Drew Dober, and Diego Ferreira. Early in his career, Benny was known as just a pure grappler. He is a former no-gi jiu-jitsu world champion. Now, Benny is seen as one of the best all-around fighters in the world. Beneil has been the odd man out in the division for a long time now. It seems like all of his contemporaries have gotten title shots and either won or lost those shots, while he just keeps racking up wins fighting guys behind him in the rankings. Beneil was scheduled to take on Makhachev last year. He of course had to pull out of that fight with a broken foot, and he hopes with a win here, he's going to get the opportunity to finally fight Makhachev. This fight should be an absolute banger, guys. The winner, like I said, most likely next in line for a title shot against Islam Makhachev in October. Huge stakes in this co-main event. Now that we've talked about the main event and we've talked about the co-main event, let's talk about some other fights on this card you should know about. We have a banger alert here. 50K Dan Ige takes on Nate the Train Landwehr. Dan Ige is an exciting Hawaiian vet with a boxing style. His ground game is very good as well. A super well-rounded fighter who's always down to scrap. His nickname 50K alludes to the fact that he gets bonuses for having exciting fights. And if you're looking for an exciting fight, I've got one for you here, because he takes on an absolute madman in Nate the Train Landwehr. This guy will never stop coming forward. He's willing to throw himself in the fire to give the fans a show. His fight against David Onama is one of my favorite fights of the last few years. If you are a new fan, do yourself a favor, go watch that fight. This fight has Fight of the Night written all over it and is an absolute must watch. And as we move on to the prelims, we will see the Dagestani-born French fighter Nassourdine Imavov. He's looking to bounce back after a main event loss to Sean Strickland back in January. So who does the UFC give him after losing to Sean Strickland, you might ask? Well, Sean Strickland's best friend, Chris Curtis. Why not? Chris Curtis has a very fan-friendly style. He's got tons of power. This fight could be very fun. I'm super excited for it. We will also be seeing the number 15 ranked flyweight Miranda Maverick. She's going to be defending her ranking spot against rising Canadian contender Jasmine Jasudavicius. We're also going to see China's AoirQileng look to extend his win streak to 3 as he takes on Aiemann Zahabi, who is of course the brother of legendary coach Fares Zahabi, who was George St. Pierre's longtime coach. Guys, all these fights and more take place this Saturday, June the 10th at the Rogers Arena in Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. I'm super excited. If you liked the video, please leave a like and hit that subscribe button. It would mean the world to us. Let us know in the comments who you think is going to win this weekend, and please follow us on IG at the107MMA. If you are not an MMA casual and you're looking for more in-depth breakdowns, we've got you covered. Go check out our full card breakdown for UFC 289. I will link that for you guys in the bio below. Thank you so much for watching. Peace.